with just a single glance. He fell hopelessly in love with his subordinate's newlywed wife. Helpless against her enchanting smile, he sank deeper each time he looked. To win her attention, he rudely snatched the balloon from her hands and tossed it aside, yet his gaze stayed glued to her, like a branding iron searing her skin. Katia watched the balloon drift away, acutely aware of the danger radiating from Ogniev. She could not yet know that fate would bind them in a tragic, exquisite love song. Following her officer husband, Dmitri, to the remote border outpost, Katia's beauty turned the whole camp upside down. But it was her husband's cold, stern superior, Ogniev, who fell the hardest. The outpost hosted a grand banquet to celebrate the newlyweds. Ogniev, however, was conspicuously absent. Determined to find him, Katia boldly went to his quarters alone, but he wasn't home. Curiosity drew her inside, calling out as she stepped under moonlight. A simple glass bottle caught her eye. Who would have thought this icy man had a tender side? Entranced, she poured herself a glass of water and sipped under the moon. She did not realize Ogniev had returned and caught her in the act. A charged silence filled the room. Ogniev battled the storm of desire within him, gripping his glass tighter and tighter until, crack, it shattered in his hand, shards clattering to the floor. Startled, Katia fled in panic. She knew she should keep her distance from this dangerous man, but destiny had other plans. Soon after, Katia took a position as a doctor at the town orphanage, where she befriended Ella, Ogniev's longtime secret lover. One day, Ogniev offered Katia a ride back to camp. It was the first time they were alone together. Katia sat in stony silence, her unease growing each moment beside him. Ogniev didn't mind. He tried to draw her into conversation, mentioning the upcoming Garrison Festival and asking if she would perform. Katia brushed him off, saying she had no talent. He chuckled, urging her not to belittle herself. But she turned away, suddenly demanding he stop the car, then rushed out to the roadside, where she bent over and vomited. Ogniev hurried over with his canteen, but before he could comfort her, Katia coldly declared she would walk back alone. His frustration boiling over, Ogniev slammed the door and sped away. The night of the Garrison Ball arrived. Katia and Dmitri danced joyously under the lights, unaware of Ogniev watching from the shadows, burning with the need to claim her for himself. His chance came when Dmitri foolishly left Katia alone on the dance floor. She stood bewildered and vulnerable, and Ogniev seized a moment, stepping forward to pull her into his arms. Like a spell, she melted against him, their bodies swaying closer and closer. Her tremors betrayed the feeling she tried so hard to deny. His predatory gaze devoured her, as if he would consume her then and there. When he finally let her go, Katia felt a pang of loss she could not deny. She realized this burning, forbidden passion due to demand what she had never felt with her childhood sweetheart. But her heart, reckless and longing, dragged them both into ruin. During a live fire drill, a young boy strayed into the blast zone. Though the gunners halted fire, it was already too late to stop. Ogniev charged through explosions to shield the boy with his own body, moments before a shell knocked him unconscious. Katia appeared like an angel, risking everything to save them. She had heard of the boy's plight and, driven by compassion, had run headlong into danger. Later that evening, Katia tended Ogniev's wounds, only to find the hardened warrior reclining with a book of favorite novel. As he spoke of its romantic passages in his deep, magnetic voice, Katia felt herself slipping under his spell once more. This time, she did not push him away. That night, tangled in each other's arms, they surrendered to forbidden bliss. At dawn, Katia was torn between guilt and a strange, fragile happiness. She had found her true love too late, bound to a man she could never truly love. Panic-stricken, she fled, but Ogniev had already made up his mind. Whatever it cost, he would have her. He ended things with Ella mercilessly. She clung to him, begging, kissing him through her tears, but he shoved her away, unmoved by her desperation. No matter the scandal or shame, he would claim Katia. Yet when he reached her, she shattered his world with a single devastating confession. Though his love burned hotter than ever, Katia's maternal instincts rose stronger than desire. She could not let her child grow up fatherless. Heartbroken, she severed ties with him. Mad with grief, Ognier threw himself into brutal training drills under driving rain, burying his longing for Katia deep within. 10 months later, Katia gave birth to a healthy baby and forced herself to live for her family, convincing herself Ognier was part of the past, until news of him reached her ears again. He had watched over her all along, from the shadows. Katia's heart plunged into turmoil once more. On her child's birthday, Ogniev stood alone in the distance, watching the woman he loved live a life he could never have. Late that night, Katia found herself restless and aching. She took her child for a walk, hoping fresh air would calm her. But tragedy struck when she stepped inside to prepare formula. A gas leak ignited, and in a flash of fire, Katia was gone. Ogniev arrived too late. He cradled her lifeless body, the love of his life lost forever. From that day on, he drowned his pain in violence, rising to infamy as a ruthless mafia king.